Work-life balance is a paradox. And when it comes to Gen Z, it's a fascinating paradox. On one hand, these individuals have grown up immersed in technology and social media. They're driven, eager to grow, succeed, and climb the corporate ladder. Yet, they also crave comfort, balance, and personal well-being, sometimes to the extreme.
You got that right.
If you're a manager, a supervisor, or even an employee, you've likely heard stories or even witnessed firsthand Gen Z workers joining remote meetings from the grocery store or even a boat. And what's ironic is that while seeking this flexibility and freedom, Gen Z professionals are finding themselves struggling with the very work environment they once idealized. Experts note that there is a growing link between remote work and increased anxiety and depression among the Gen Z cohort. In fact, as the generation with the least in-person workplace experience, Gen Z employees may be more vulnerable to loneliness and the mental health challenges that come with reduced face-to-face interactions. So when we read that 68% of Gen Z and younger millennials are feeling stress a lot of the time, it makes sense. This is the compounded result of blurred boundaries and disconnected work experiences in a predominantly virtual environment. My name is Hannah Jennerine, and today we're diving into the remote work dilemma, exploring Gen Z's struggle to find a true work-life balance and what both employees and employers can do about it. And if you stick around until the end, I'll be giving away my free ebook, The 5 Things Every Employer Must Know About Gen Z Employees, to help you understand this generation even further. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn your post notifications on for more content. So without further ado, let's get to it and start by talking about the emergence of remote work and why it has become so popular. During the COVID-19 pandemic, remote work became widespread as business operations had to continue, and working from home was the most feasible way that people could get paid while also fulfilling their job responsibilities and roles, right? Both businesses and employees, they had to continue with what they were doing. And what started as an emergency response quickly evolved into a long-term trend, with many organizations adopting hybrid or fully remote models. For many, remote work was initially perceived as a dream come true. It promised more flexibility, no daily commute or tolls, and the ability to work from anywhere comfortably. For Gen Z, this shift aligned well with their values, especially in terms of creating a better work-life balance and finding a sense of personal freedom. Many of them were in college, I know I was, and also entering the workplace, so this is something that they were adjusted to already. However, this idealistic view has begun to show cracks, especially as many employees, particularly younger ones, experience unexpected struggles with isolation, stagnation, and burnout.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
In 2023, Deloitte conducted a survey, and it was found that 52% of Gen Z reported experiencing burnout. This is up from 46% in 2022. From a career development point of view, it is understandable to question this because it's odd. If you are in your early 20s, at the beginning of your career, burnout is not the word that would come to my mind, at least. In fact, it makes you wonder, what exactly is happening? So naturally, you use the handy-dandy internet, and then you come across these statistics. Now, I want to note that I'm not completely bashing remote work. I think there is value to it. This is not applicable just to Gen Z, but the appeal to remote work is rooted in this desire for greater control over time and the environment, especially as professionals. Many see it as an opportunity to achieve a better work-life balance, get more sleep, and handle personal tasks more efficiently throughout the day. It is also seen as a better option for caregivers and parents who need flexibility in managing family responsibilities. Now, while remote work offers efficiency and convenience, it comes with an unintended trade-off when it comes to personal and professional growth that really isn't talked about, especially for Gen Z employees. Remote work can sacrifice opportunities for young professionals to develop essential interpersonal skills and leadership capabilities that are often nurtured in an in-office environment. As a Gen Zer, speaking from my own experience, working in an in-office environment throughout my entire career so far, I've grown significantly since I first started. I largely attribute this growth to the opportunities and challenges I faced in the office. My character has developed in ways I did not intend nor did I expect. And to give an example, I'm no longer afraid to express my thoughts and ideas in meetings. I've gained the confidence to speak up, knowing that my contributions are valuable. Over time, I've also learned how to better manage myself, balancing my tasks, setting clear boundaries, and prioritizing my time effectively. This has helped me become more organized, self-disciplined, and prepared for leadership opportunities. So while I totally understand the appeal of remote work, because honestly, who doesn't love that kind of flexibility, there's a downside that can be easy to overlook. When you're working from home, you're missing out on those in-person moments that can drive your professional growth. The impromptu conversations with colleagues, right, that can lead to meaningful connections, the quick feedback from a supervisor, or those spontaneous brainstorming sessions. Those are all opportunities for you to get to network, develop leadership skills, and build those relationships that I just mentioned that just can't be replicated in a virtual environment. Another factor to consider is isolation. For Gen Z, I know as a generation, we thrive on that interaction and that collaboration. And when you're always, working from home or working remotely, you can feel like you're in this bubble. Over time, this can lead to disengagement, loneliness, and even some mental health challenges. Without the physical presence of your team, you can start to feel disconnected from the company culture. Those casual chats by the coffee machine or team lunches can create bonds that can essentially help you. In fact, just the other day, I was making coffee in the break room, and there was this project manager who came in, and we started chatting, naturally. Next thing you know, it led to a meeting. And now, all of a sudden, next month, I'm actually attending a meeting or a training where I get to learn a new skill, eventually do like a train the trainer, and it's just building my network and my connection. In my perspective, I think this is pretty cool. And the last thing that I want to say in this respect before I share some recommendations for both employees, whether you're a Gen Z or a young professional, and employers, is that work-life balance, while it sounds ideal, is actually much harder to achieve than it seems, especially when we're working 8 to 9 hours a day. The reality is that balance isn't just about having flexible hours or avoiding a commute. It's about setting boundaries through structure, managing energy by making sure that we rest and recover, and making intentional choices about how we spend our time to avoid burnout. So with this being said, for Gen Z, remember that growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. If you have the opportunity, challenge yourself to spend at least 3 to 4 days a week in the office. Those in-person interactions are key to developing professional skills that can't be cultivated over Zoom, Teams, or whatever other platform you use. Take ownership of your personal and professional development. Just because you're remote doesn't mean that you should put your growth on the back burner. Be proactive about networking. Seek out mentorship opportunities and invest in upskilling through courses, certifications, or even leadership training. The more intentional you are about your career development, the better positioned you'll be for future leadership roles. And most importantly, have structure. When you're working from home, make sure you are setting a routine, maintaining a dedicated workspace, and holding yourself accountable to a schedule. It's easy to blur the lines between work and personal time, but creating structure helps maintain that productivity, focus, and what we all are seeking, which is work-life balance. Now, for my leaders and managers and supervisors and basically my employers, remember that remote work isn't going anywhere, and Gen Z values flexibility now more than ever. If companies want to attract and retain top talent, embracing a hybrid model that allows for both autonomy and connection is key. Provide employees with opportunities for mentorship, virtual networking, in-person meetups, professional development, and leadership training, right? Regardless of whether they're in the office or working remotely, it's important to show your employees that you value them and you value pouring into them. And finally, to prevent remote work from being taken to the extreme, like employees joining meetings from the grocery store or even a boat, like I mentioned in the beginning, develop a structured system that emphasizes accountability, professionalism, and engagement. Set clear expectations around communication, etiquette, including guidelines for video meetings, response times, and availability during core work hours. Leaders should enforce the importance of being present and engaged during virtual interactions. Flexibility is valuable, but it should not come at the expense of performance, team collaboration, or company culture. By finding the right balance between autonomy and structure, employers can maintain a productive and engaged workforce while still honoring the flexibility that not only Gen Z, but their employees in general value. So, with this all in mind, How are you finding the balance between flexibility and connection in your remote work environment? Is it working? Is it not working? What are your experiences? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you have a completely different opinion or perspective than I do, I would love to hear your thoughts, so please feel free to share. And as promised, if you're looking for more ways to connect with and engage Gen Z in your workplace, I've got just the resource for you. In the description, you'll find a link to my free ebook, The 5 Things Every Employer Must Know About Gen Z. This ebook is packed with actionable insights, real-world examples, and strategies you can apply right away to create a thriving environment for your Gen Z employees. Also, be sure to check out my training and speaking catalog down below if you're interested in having me work with you or your team or your organization, because together we can take the next step to promote a culture of growth, connection, and balance. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn your post notifications on for more content. My name is Hannah Jennerine, and I will see you with a new video very soon.